So in this video, we're going to take what we know from all of the previous sections where we find angle measurements and we find sides, and we're going to apply that to finding missing pieces on a triangle. So in this example, we want to solve the right triangle ABC if I'm given angle B to be 28 degrees 40 minutes and side A 25.3 centimeters. Now I'm going to back up and say that I know this is an angle because when I'm trying to describe figures, capital letters stand for angle measurements, lowercase letters stand for sides. So let's go ahead and draw this figure. I know it's a right triangle, so we're just going to kind of roughly sketch it here. If it's a right triangle, we have a right angle here. I'm going to call this angle down here angle B. Okay. And I'm going to call this right angle C and the top angle up here angle A. Now because I know capital letters are the angles, their sides are opposite of the angles. So side A would be opposite angle A, which is over here. So that would be angle A, side A. The hypotenuse is little c, and then of course across from side angle B is side B. So what I'm given, let me just write that on here. I know that angle B is 28 degrees 40 minutes. Side A is going to be 25.3 centimeters. Now how do we begin? I would first begin by completing what you have the most information on. So in other words, if I need to figure out what angle A is, I already know two of the three angles in my triangle, so it should be easy to find the missing angle. Something else I know already, since this is a right triangle, I know that angles A and B are complementary, meaning that they add up to be 90 degrees. So I'm going to use that information to be able to solve for angle A. So angle A would be 90 minus angle B, which is 28 degrees 40 minutes. So we're just going to do this on the calculator. So I say 90 minus 28. So remember, when we want to do an angle like that, I do second apps. Choose option number 1, 28 degrees 40. Second apps again. Option 2 gives me the minutes. Hit enter, and it returns for me the decimal value. Since I'm given an angle measurement in degrees and seconds, I want to return it in degrees and seconds. So I go back to second apps, choose option 4 to convert it for me, and I'm told that it's 61 degrees 20 minutes. 61 degrees 20 minutes. So I know what this angle is now. The next thing I'm going to do when I approach this is, normally I would use Pythagorean's theorem to be able to find out the sides, the measures of a triangle. But I only know one side measurement and I need two to be able to solve this. So we're going to use trig to find out one of the missing sides. This is where you can do this in all sorts of different ways. It doesn't really matter how you start. I happened to look at this one day and I said, okay, if I know that the sine of angle A is equal to opposite over hypotenuse, A over C. Well, I know what A is, big A. I know what the angle A is. I also know what side A is. So of this equation here, I can fill in my missing pieces and solve for side C. So let's do that. I have the sine of, we said A was 61 degrees 20 minutes, is equal to little a, which is 25.3, divided by the side I'm trying to solve for, which is C. Rearranging this equation by multiplying both sides by C and then dividing by the sine of angle A, I end up with this. The sine 61 degrees 20 minutes. 20 minutes. Make sure that you can rearrange that equation if you're not sure how I did that. So from this point, I'm just going to let my calculator do those values for me. So it's going to be 25.3 divided by the sine of that angle, and I'm going to be lazy and just recall it. Hit enter, and I find out that side C is 28.8 centimeters, I believe. C would be 28.8 centimeters. So that's the second side in my triangle. And now I can use Pythagorean's theorem. Remember, Pythagorean's theorem was a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared. And if I'm solving for side B, I can rearrange this to look like the square root of c squared minus a squared. Plug in my values and let the calculator do the rest. So c was 28.8 squared minus a, which is 25.3 squared. In the calculator, we do second square root, 28.8 squared minus 25.3 squared. Enter. And I find out that the side B is actually 13, if I'm rounding, 13.8 centimeters. And that's how you find those three sides and their three angles of that triangle.